Peace everyone, Unmask here and welcome back to the self-portrait live stream. Today I am going to be finishing up the shirt. Hopefully I'll be finishing up the shirt. I have a couple toning colors here. I'm going to be toning with some green and some red because that's kind of the overall theme that I've been going for with my portrait in general, is to kind of play with the complements a bit. Good evening, Sandra. Good to see you. And then I have my normal colors, my grays and my black here, just to get everything the way that I want, in case I have to add some more layers, all that normal stuff. Anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and you know what? I'm just gonna start with some green. So, hey, happy birthday, Cece. Oh, what's up, Christian? Good to see you in the live stream. And Urike, good to see you too. So let's see here. I'm gonna just the shadows are where I want to incorporate the green, and the highlighted kind of midtones is where I want to incorporate the red. And this is going to be kind of a subtle. This is going to be something really subtle. Not something that's gonna like stick out like crazy. That's why it's a toning color and not, a green and red shirt. You can kind of think of it like the way they color grade movies. Usually in movies, especially like it's really common now in like popular last 10 years to color grade movies orange and blue, because orange and blue are actually complements. So they do that a lot in movies, and it's really appealing to the eye. The orange and blue, the blue is usually a bit cooler and the orange is a little bit warmer, and so it kind of makes the skin tones of actors and actresses stand out against like a cooler, bluer background. So that's a really common theme in movies now, especially the superhero movies or the more dramatic movies. And for this project, I am keeping it kind of bright and happy and toning it green and red instead. And so you can maybe start to see some changes in the shadow. Like I said, it's going to be really subtle. I'm just going to be doing a lot of kind of the polishing of the shirt today, and I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to finish it. But if not, I'm still going to have a polishing stage for this project at the end, the last couple days of the month. And gosh, I'm down to the last 5 days. So for those of you that are used to seeing Cece in the chat, my nephew Christian, he is actually using my sister's account right now. Christian, I'm coming to visit in June. I'll probably like 4 weeks, so in about 4 weeks. And right now it is 9 o'clock at night here in Poland. So I know you're enjoying your early afternoon right now, and I am coloring into the evening and then going to go to sleep.
Biscuits?
Yeah, eggs, biscuits. That's your aunt Anya says eggs, biscuits, Christian.
If you remember.
Oh, I don't think he forgets. Hello, Virginia and Peggy, Tessa, Nick, Sergio, good to see you as well. Thank you guys so much for coming by and hanging out. I decided to do today's live stream a little bit later, try to give other people the chance to join in and come and hang out. I like to spread out the time for the daily live streams, just so that I can kind of catch everybody at least one time throughout the month. And I think this might actually be like the latest live stream that I've ever done. My wife was not too fond of it, because
I
she,
need to pretend that I'm quiet.
yeah, she needs to pretend that she's quiet. She'll probably sneeze in another 10 or 15 minutes. So, oh, hey there, Jesse. Why Poland? Well, my wife is Polish, so
Yeah, it's my fault.
yeah, it's all her fault. She takes full blame.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
credit.
yeah. I live in Poland, in case that wasn't, in case you weren't sure of that. Thank you, Christian. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been working on this. I've been working on this every day for the month of May. Every single day. And you guys have seen the process of this drawing from the very beginning. So from the blank piece of paper that had absolutely nothing on it, all the way up to this. I have never once, for the entirety of this project, did anything off camera. So every single thing that you see here has been done 100% throughout the live stream. And I've tried to break up each live stream into kind of somewhat digestible chapters, so that, you know, if you happen to be coming into this live stream for the first time, all the other live streams, you know, I do the background, I did the face, and then I did like the hair and the neck, the shirt, and then I reworked the background, and I kind of just, you know, jumped around a little bit to just keep things interesting and flowing along nicely. I don't know if you can see it now, but I am so liking this green right now. I'm really, really, really excited with how well this green is showing up in the shadows, and it's just starting to make the shirt look really nice with the background, because I have the same shade of green kind of happening over here, and it just looks really, really cool. And, you know, sometimes it's just these really small changes that you make, these subtle colors that you bring into your work that sets it off and makes it go from kind of an amateur looking piece to something that it just, you know, far exceeds those standards and looks more professional. And you know, you can't rush to this stage because you have to make sure that you have everything below done. And one of the other things, like right now I'm using my Polychromos pencil, and I don't use Polychromos very often, but I've been using them more and more lately because I found that they're just really good during the polishing stage, since they're a more translucent color. They do these toning layers like just really, really nicely, and it smooths everything out. It just looks really great. Couldn't be more thankful for the late live stream. Oh, that's good. Oh, hello, Marcy. Oh, thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm trying to make the drawing here one of my best. Really just taking my time. When I was, you know, when day 10, like early teens of the month, I was getting a little anxious that I wasn't going to be able to complete the project in time. But now, you know, I have 5 days left, which means at least 5 hours worth of work. that I'll be continuing to put into this project, and I feel really good about it. I still need to, once I finish the shirt, which will most likely be this evening for me, be able to finish the shirt off and be all done with it. Tomorrow I'll probably work on the hair, and once I have like the shirt 100% done and the hair 100% done, that gives me like what, three full days. Gives me Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so like 4 days more to just kind of like polish anything that I need. And then I need to rework the arm and my face and the neck and all the skin tones, and just kind of make sure the drawing looks like me, because it should look like me, since it's a drawing of myself. And right now I feel like it's kind of close. I feel like it kind of looks like me, but I don't know, part of me also thinks that it doesn't. So I need to make those tiny adjustments to get it just the way that I want, and that'll be the last couple days. I'll just keep kind of finessing my lines and colors and getting it just right. What did I eat today? That's a good question. So for breakfast, I had some delicious cherries. My lovely and gracious wife went to the market the other day. Was it Saturday? Oh, she's got headphones on. She can't hear me. Was it Saturday you went and got me cherries? Or Friday? Yeah, okay, so it was, yeah. She got me 600 grams of cherries,
And I got nothing of it.
in which I ate every single one of them and gave her none, which is which is most likely to happen if you get me cherries, that you will not get any.
You're super expensive.
Cherries are by far my favorite. I love them. And yeah, so that's what I had for breakfast. For lunch, I had taco salad, in which was actually just leftovers, because we had tacos yesterday. And by tacos, I mean my original whole food, no processed food, no oil, no nothing. Because I know most of you know that my wife and I have been doing a special diet for
Is it?
for the month of May, and it has consisted of 100% whole foods, only fresh fruits and vegetables, no processed food, no sugar, no flour, no oil, so nothing like that. And so our taco shell is actually just a lettuce leaf, iceberg lettuce leaf, and then the beef part of our taco is green lentils, in which I season like taco beef. And then I make refried beans out of kidney beans and black beans, which is just so good. I love it. I've like perfected refried beans and absolutely love it. And I had that for lunch and dinner, because I made a ton of it. And so leftovers fed both of us yesterday and today. So just a bunch of tacos, which I am not complaining, because I love it. I also had avocado on it and some freshly cut tomatoes. So yeah, super tasty day. Pretty much my ideal meals: cherries and tacos. I mean, if I had to eat cherries and tacos every single day, I'd probably be okay.
You would be fine.
What do I plan to do with your self-portrait once I've completed it? Once I'm done with my self-portrait, it's most likely just going to go in my drawer with the rest of my artwork and just sit there. I am currently trying to sell two of my pastel paintings. I have them up on my website, and I have a link in the description if you guys want to bid on my artwork. It's just on my website also, so if you have a link to my website, which is also in the description, so you can go check them out. Just a couple. I've just listed two of my pastel paintings, kind of an experiment just to see if they sell. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I don't have any plan for my portrait here. I'm not really comfortable hanging it up. I don't really like the idea of hanging a picture of myself up. So not going to do that. But yeah, sorry to disappoint. No plans. I'm not going to sell it though. I won't ever sell it. Not because I have some connection to it or anything, but it feels weird. It would feel too weird to sell my self-portrait because I don't know why anybody would want a picture of me, to be honest with you. But yeah, good question. Doritos for breakfast, Christian. You are such an 8-year-old. Hang it up on my studio wall. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna hang it on my wall. It's not one of the pieces of work that I like to stare at. I've been staring at it every day for a month now, and I think I'm good. I think I'm good on my self-portrait. Yeah. I think I'm gonna just take a break from looking at it or ever looking at it again. It's more of a it's for me, doing a self-portrait does have a little bit of kind of intimacy to it, and it's just kind of like for me it's kind of like capturing a snapshot of the way that I see myself or the way that I feel about myself. And so I mean, my self-portraits they're a personal project that I care a lot about, but not to like look at for an extended period of time. So sorry to disappoint, but yeah, probably won't be seeing this self-portrait on my wall anytime soon. Could I answer your question? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, sometimes I get carried away. I must have missed it. Since you are vegan, I would like to know what brushes you use for oil painting. I just use synthetic. Yeah, I always use synthetic brushes. And the other thing about my paint brushes is that they are always cheap, off-brand nonsense. I don't recommend brushes because I don't get I don't look for name brands. I don't
You
yeah,
don't see the difference?
I don't pay I pay as little as possible for my brushes. All I look for, I just make sure they're synthetic brushes, or like the natural bristle brush that's not animal based. Other than that, yeah, I have no recommendation because I don't know any of the brands that even exist. So yeah. And if I happen to miss any of your questions, don't hesitate to to ask me again. Sometimes I miss them. I don't do it on purpose, I can assure you. There's probably been like maybe one question in the entirety of my live streaming career that I've ignored on purpose, but only because it was really stupid and I don't remember what it was. Alright, got some nice green showing. Darkening. I've been darkening my shadows here for a little bit with black. And I want, I think before I do the red, I want to try to smooth out some of the stripes here. So there's a little bit of spots that I feel just need, another quick layer of my gray. And then before I blend, or before I do any of the red toning on the lighter shades, I'm going to blend what I have down with a tiny bit of solvent. Noticed you move your work around with bare hand. They are not oily. No, I'm not. I'm not concerned with it. They're well. My hands are freshly cleaned, and so they're not oily enough for me to care. And the background, the background is so completely covered, and since it's a wax, it's kind of got a natural protection from just, touching it a little bit with my hand. It's not anything that I'm concerned about at all. And I'll use a final fixative once I'm done with the project to preserve the work for a long time. What are you doing? What are you doing, Christian? Going crazy in the chat? This last layer with my gray here should help even out some of the paper, and then it should look a little bit better, because right now there's still some pencil grain showing through, and you can almost never layer too much to smooth that stuff out. And you don't have to press hard. There's this common misconception with colored pencils that, if you want to get that super smooth and burnished look and make your colored pencil work look like a painting, you have to press harder to get the color to smooth out. But the truth is, that's the opposite of what you want to do. You want a really nice, consistent, like low pressure with your pencil, and you just want it to slowly work into the paper. It's kind of like imagine sanding a piece of wood, and you've gotten to a point where the wood, like you've sanded it with a pretty heavy sandpaper, and there's still the scratches from that grit, and so you have to go higher grit to kind of get rid of those marks. But that higher grit is smoother, so you can kind of think of like the higher grit when working with pencils is like a lower pressure that you're putting on the paper. So to get rid of the grooves, you don't press harder, you go softer, and you let the wax of the pencil build up where it's missing without adding like indents into the paper, which is what you would do. What you would, yeah. Sorry, I was looking up at the chat. Hello, everyone. Hello, Ryan, Cece, Lisa, Kiera, Cade, Tom. If you guys hear me right now, hello to everyone. What are some of the books you read that you'd tell your younger self to read? Oh, that's a super good question.
You don't have an answer now.
That's a super good question. If I were, oh, man, what would I think the first book I'd tell myself to read, because not only is it like an easy read, which is something my younger self would be convinced to read, is Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It's a really lovely story that has a really deep meaning to it, depending on how you interpret it, of course. But it was one of my favorite books, and it just kind of it was a book that just inspired me, and it just kind of, and the story is about a seagull that is different than all the other seagulls, and it does things differently than the other seagulls. And it was just kind of like it was just a really nice story, very simple, and just a really lovely book to read. And I would probably recommend that book to be read first. The next book, if I can even think of the name. The next book, what next book would I have myself read? I'm trying to think of like the order in which I read the books that kind of affected the way I moved in life. Which ones were more significant, or which ones were the most significant? And let's see, gosh, that is a tough question. And without having like my books in front of me, I can't really think back titles specifically that I there's a lot of books that I have read when I was in the military because I read so many books in a very short period of time that I can't even remember most of the titles because it was just one book right after another. Most of what I spent my time reading was nonfiction. So I've read several psychology books that are really fun. I've read several philosophy books, like Beyond the Matrix. That was a really fun book to read. I would probably, gosh, what is the title of the book? I can't even remember the author. It was a funny book. I remember, but it was a history book. It was a history philosophy book a little bit. Yeah, good question. You really stumped me on that one. I'd probably tell myself, since I can't think of any other titles, I'd probably tell myself to read the book your church doesn't want you to read. That's the title. Is the book your church doesn't want you to read. And How to Hustle and Win. Yeah, I'd have to recommend that book to myself, my younger self. I don't know if I'd be able to get my younger self to read the books that inspired so much later on in my life because, like I said, most of them were nonfiction, history books and philosophy and just kind of some self-help type books. Books that just inspired me to be a better person and make wiser decisions. Oh, hey Cece, I imagine that's you now. Yeah, that's such a good question about the books. Cece has my whole library of books, so it'd be easier for her to answer the question. I left all my books with her when I moved to Poland, and now they're just getting moldy in a storage unit somewhere. Oh, hey there, Christy. Good to see you. Glad you were able to make it to the live stream. Another good question. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? That is a good question. That is indeed a good question. And I would say that question may have been really difficult for me to answer. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. because there's this philosophy that I was introduced to, that the core of the philosophy was knowledge of self. And it was something that when I first came across, you know, I'm not sure I understood it. I'm not sure I understood it because you never really ask yourself who you are, unless somebody else asks you it. And when you are asked it, you have no idea how to respond. And what I would say, who to the question, who am I, is I would say that I am who I want to be, and I am proud of who I am. And even though I always seek to be better, I'm satisfied with the person that I am now. So that is how I would answer that question. Though I probably wouldn't have had such an answer, 10 years ago, something like that. I'd probably say, I don't know. But I know, I know the kind of person that I am. I know my principles. I know what I think. I know what my flaws are. I know where I can improve. I know the kind of person that I want to be. And knowing all that stuff, I think, is knowing yourself. And it makes you more than a name, and it makes you more than just any other person. So yeah, good question. All right, now I am going to start putting in some more highlights. And these highlights are going to be a bit more textured, I think. So, actually, before I do that, I want to use some of my solvent to blend out that layer. Yeah, before I get going too crazy with my final details and whatnot. Oh, thank you, Christy. Yeah, I agree. Knowing yourself is the most important person that you could possibly know. Knowing your capabilities allows you to be confident in your abilities, and knowing your faults lets you avoid making the same mistake over and over again. Knowing who you want to be allows you to set goals for yourself that you can accomplish. Because, at the end of the day, if you're not happy with who you are or where you are, I don't think you can be happy, genuinely. I could be happy in a room by myself or in a room with people that I care about. And I think it all boils down to whether or not you know who you are and you're happy with who you are. Oh, Marcy, that's kind of a cool task to give yourself, to reread a book every 7 years. I'm due for another reread of Jonathan Livingston Seagull. I am curious to see how my first interpretation of that book, and just how much I enjoyed the book the first time, if I still enjoy it just as much, and if maybe I don't pull something a little deeper out of the context of the story. I do like that. I do like that idea. It's those books that really changed the way that I think about things, that I just found so inspiring, that has always made me want to write a book. But every time, I don't know, every time I think about it, every time I think about writing a book, and I've had a lot of ideas over the years. I've even wrote several of them down. But every time I kind of move past the inspiration to writing it, I don't know. I always feel like my words wouldn't be good enough to do what some of those really great books I've read have done. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because that I haven't really ever written anything for people to read and be inspired by, I guess. Because that's what my core motivation, like, wants to do. Once, like, I'm inspired to write a book that would inspire others, but maybe that's the wrong way to go about it. Maybe the right way to go about it is to just write a book that I would like. And if it inspires people, then good. And if it doesn't, then at least I accomplished what I always wanted to do, which was to write a book. So maybe I should stop holding myself back from that. You know what? I never had that thought until just now. Never had that thought till just now. Thanks to you lovely people bringing up interesting questions and reading books. Yeah, never thought of it before. Seems like a pretty valid point from my perspective. Unless one of you can convince me otherwise, then I'll reconsider my point. Would I have any advice for a 15-year-old? Any advice for a 15-year-old? I can't really think vaguely, like a 15-year-old in general. I could certainly give self advice when I was 15. Because when I was 15, I was convinced that school was worthless. I really was. I didn't pay any attention in my classes. I didn't study. I didn't do homework. I didn't think that I would ever go to college. And there was always, there's always this pressure on kids, convincing them that college is necessary, that education, the public education, is important, and I rebelled against that. I rebelled against that idea because I didn't feel like it was true. And I would say, if I could go back and tell my 15-year-old self some advice, I'd tell my 15-year-old self that the reason you're rebelling, the reason you feel that way, is because it's true, and it's okay. But there's many different types of education. You could, maybe be really good at memorizing dates and names, and then you'd be a historian. Or maybe you're really good at math, and so you could be, what I was going to be was a high school math teacher. Until I accidentally became a professional artist. But there was always like one motivation when I was 15. It was like I just wanted to make more money than what I grew up having, which was a very, very small amount. And I thought working hard physically was going to be my path out. And so I'd probably tell myself to learn as much as possible. Learn as much as possible from every single source. Just learn as much as possible. Because I don't know, for me, like school always made me hate the idea of learning. It made me hate learning, and so I avoided what would have otherwise been really, really good sources of information. And gosh, I could have been so much further in life. I could be retired right now. If I knew the stuff that I knew now, I could be retired right now. It would be great. I don't know. Maybe that's not the best advice to give a 15-year-old. I suppose it depends on their state of mind, where they're at in life, how they feel, because everybody's different. And universal advice only amounts to cliches, I guess. So thought I'd drop in. How am I doing today? Well, thank you, Jewel. I appreciate you stopping by and saying hello. I'm doing very well. Thank you very much. Yeah, we're having a good philosophical conversation day today. It's only taken 26 days to get into this topic, because we have talked about a lot of stuff throughout this month, and that's usually how it goes with these month-long live streams. I mean, last year, Inktober, I'm sure we had all kinds of goofy conversations. I'm way too embarrassed to go back through them, but yeah. Now, actually, before I get to the red, yeah, I'm really holding off on the red. I need to do some more layering of my darker gray stripes. Yeah, you guys have just had some really, really fun questions. Really enjoy the questions. It's keeping me on my toes for sure. I really have to think my answers through, and answering them on the spot. Some of these questions they certainly caught me off guard. I wasn't prepared to put this much thought into the questions today. Usually they're so much more art related. I think another thing that I'd have to tell my 15-year-old self is that if I knew it was me speaking, if like I was face to face with my 15-year-old self, and me at 15 was face to face with my older self, I would listen. That's one thing for sure. I would listen 100%. And I'd tell my 15-year-old self that you're wrong. I would just say that. I would just be like, you're wrong. And even my 15-year-old self would completely be confused. But I know that if I were to say that to myself when I was 15, it would linger in my head, and it would just plant the most healthy seed of skepticism that I wish I had 15 years ago. And it probably would have been the spark that I needed at that age to start reading independently of school, and to start seeking knowledge within the realm of the stuff you don't know. So you have the stuff the stuff you don't know, and then the stuff you don't know. And I find like I've from experience, I would say the stuff you don't know is the best stuff to find out. At least it is for me. Like, I love learning something that that puts me in an awe position. When I learn something new, and I think that's what has motivated me for a really long time, to just seek information from just about any source that I could, to just learn something new. And so I would tell my 15-year-old self that you're wrong. Whatever you think, you're wrong. Because I think just about every 15-year-old needs to come to the realization that they know nothing. And if they feel like they know something, you're wrong. And I was probably the worst. I was probably the worst around that age, for sure. I knew a lot, but I knew nothing. Is there a question you could not answer? What do you mean? Like, because I don't have the information, or that I'm not willing to share it? There hasn't been a question yet that I haven't been willing to answer, but I think my audience up to this point has been at least mature enough to not seek a question that I wouldn't be willing to answer, if that makes sense. Trying to put that as nice as possible. But I mean, yeah, there's of course many questions that I am not capable of answering because I don't have the answer. But those questions are easy to respond to because I have full confidence in saying I don't know. I am happy to say I don't know things. In fact, those are the questions I look forward to the most. I look forward to the questions that my only answer is I don't know. Because sometimes it's the question itself that I learn the most from. So, if there's something that I don't know, then a simple question can unlock and it will give me knowledge of something that I now know I don't know, as opposed to not knowing I don't know. Hopefully that makes sense, but it makes sense to me, and it should make sense to you if you followed that sentence correctly. What toothpaste do I use? Oh, what is the toothpaste I use? That's such a ridiculous question. What is the toothpaste? See, you have an unfair advantage because, all the products I use are in Polish and I can barely remember anything with Polish titles and names and stuff. I'm gonna ask my wife to go to the bathroom and grab the toothpaste. Yeah, I don't remember. It's not that I don't know the name, it's that I don't remember. So there's a difference. There's a difference. Somewhere in my subconscious mind, the name of the toothpaste exists. I simply don't have the my brain has yet to strongly create the connection so that I can recall that information when I need it. There's probably a lot of hygiene products that you could ask that I don't know the name of. I don't know the brand of my socks. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the brand name of anything that I have.
Except our supply.
Except art supplies, yeah, you're right there. Yeah.
And maybe your electronic.
My electronic equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not probably, well, maybe the make, but not the model. So like I know this is a Canon camera, but I always mix up the A and the X because it's an AX11.
But this is model, not the brand.
Yeah.
The toothpaste is Polish, so I suppose, yeah.
Yeah.
You're forgiven.
I could have just made up a name for the toothpaste and they would never know.
Unless they will try to find it online.
Zelmbe pasta.
Pasta do zębów.
Close enough.
Yeah, this is. You have zęb pasta.
What?
Toothpaste. It's zęb pasta.
Mm-hmm.
So weird. My toothpaste doesn't have name or brand. Just baking soda and Virginia peroxide.
Yeah, joke's on you. I don't use toothpaste.
Oh my goodness.
I am almost ready to start adding the red. I'm gonna do a little bit more smoothing. Maybe I still have some solvent on my brush. Yeah, I have plenty. Just to smooth out that layer of pencil, and then I can start putting in the red. Finally. Yeah, I need to get a haircut.
I like him. What's the problem?
See, my hair sticks up, but then I wear headphones all day, so it flattens this part, and so they do just this part.
It's super style. Why not the problem?
I'm gonna get my hair cut this week.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, on date night, I'm getting it
Are
cut.
you?
I sure am.
Barber thing
I'm going to the barber.
Is it open?
It better be open.
But they're big.
Better be open. I'm gonna break in otherwise and use their hair clippers. So you're gonna have to deal with the shenanigans on the top of my head for at least a few days.
They can stand beard?
Oh, they're gonna make the beard look good too.
No, I mean your people.
I don't know.
They have problem with hers, but they stand your beard? I don't like the beard. I know. You see, your hair is fine. What's wrong? What's wrong?
Alright, I'm finally adding the red.
Why would you put red there? There's nothing red in your shirt, Ariel. Why are you using some fake colors with him? Hmm? Oh my god.
Already looks better. I'm trying to keep with the red, the main light source is to the left here. So where all the wrinkles show up, the high spots, the red is going to be on the left face of those wrinkles. So pretty much my whole arm over here, this whole side will be red. At least toned a little bit red, since it's all kind of on that side.
Did they? Did they?
I don't remember.
You say you ignored it. It was like, I mean, you look super good with it, but
Of course I look super good with it.
For me.
It's convenient to me. I don't have to shave it.
Yeah, but you're not getting kisses from me.
I get plenty of kisses.
Because you forced them. The forced kisses don't count. Don't you know?
They hear you complaining about my face.
What?
Wives shouldn't complain about their husbands' faces.
I don't complain about your face. I know it's super beautiful, and you know it too. Because I keep telling you, just beard doesn't feel that nice, you know. You would know if I had a beard. There was this experiment, right? I saw this video.
I don't know.
Wives and girlfriends had beards, and their partners had to kiss them. And they didn't appreciate it.
I wouldn't do it. If you had a beard, you wouldn't get kisses.
They would be bored.
If you had a beard, you probably wouldn't have a husband.
Maybe. I would work in circus.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's so wrong. Am I stuck in the chat with me?
Yeah.
What do they say?
Yeah, my wife is stalking the chat.
Once a month, I think I should at least do that. Right?
Yeah, you should.
Keep an eye on it.
You should come into the camera and say hello to everyone. They've been seeing my face every day this month. They haven't gotten to see your face.
Your face is perfect.
Your face is adorable, though.
It's not prepared.
I know it's
to
not
see
prepared.
Your camera.
Yeah, I don't need you breaking my camera. Keep your face over there.
Well, you managed to break your camera yourself.
I did break my camera. It overheated because it was just too much for it to handle.
Of perfectness.
Yeah.
I see. You shine so bright into the.
Yeah, that's the problem. You break cameras when you look as good as I do.
Oh, sweaty diddy. Why are you cooking red money?
I wonder if are you seeing the live stream right now?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Do you see the red and green?
I see your pencil being red.
That's it.
Are you asking me if I'm seeing that you're like red in your picture?
Yeah. It's like I said, it's very subtle, and I don't know if the camera is even good enough at picking it up. I'll zoom in a little bit.
Well, I can't tell that it's red.
Can you see the red? Here's red, here's
For me,
green.
only
Red.
pencil is red.
Red and green right next to each other.
Where's this idea to put green and red in it?
I wanted complementary colors.
I you and your complementary colors.
I like complementary
I
colors.
know, but sometimes we are just so wrong about complementary colors. It's ridiculous. Like orange and what, purple, right?
No, you don't know complementary colors? Yellow is the complement to purple. Orange is orange and blue.
Oh my goodness, it's so off.
How do you say it's off? It's in every single movie almost.
Where?
They color grade movies as orange and blue almost every single time.
What do you mean by that?
It means the shadows are blue and the skin is orange. You don't complain about it.
Because it's not really blue and not really orange. And besides, I'm making your stream funny, so you should be just thankful. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, modesty has left the chat. I can no longer be modest.
You're modest enough.
My wife doesn't let me be modest. She puts me on too high of a pedestal. I become
Narcissistic.
arrogant and I don't know, I'm just trying to think of words.
Narcissistic?
No.
What's wrong with narcissistic?
Well, because that's too much.
And arrogant is enough for your kind of modesty once a year. Today. You're simple, not sure.
Can I say, of course I'm modest and not be modest?
They would.
I always feel like if you claim your modesty, it signifies the opposite. I feel like saying you're modest is bragging, which is therefore not modest.
It shouldn't be like that. I suppose it could be. What is the word? Oh my goodness, what is Polish word for it? Odebrane. What is English word? Received. Received as.
Perceived, not received, perceived.
What is perceived?
The way somebody would interpret it. Like,
This needs already received.
no, it's not.
In Polish.
It's kind of the same. It's kind of the same.
I
There is
would
somewhat.
say if you're not making stuff.
It's somewhat interchangeable.
But anyway, is it dismodest, unmodest, non-modest, immodest, immodest?
I don't think there's
Non-modest?
an antonym. I don't think there's an antonym for it.
So
I think it's you're either modest or arrogant.
I need to make this list of.
Not very modest. It's either you're modest and not very modest,
I need to
and
do
then
this
arrogant.
list of synonyms and whatever antonyms
Yeah.
with this im.
You need to keep making your list and stop asking me. Don't blink slowly at me.
I did that. I'm trying to say something.
You're always trying to say something.
Hello, Christian. Ex-busy.
Your wife makes a good sidekick. Yeah, she makes a good sidekick.
Only
just-
when I'm not on the screen. I just go too far.
Yeah. Anytime she's actually in the live stream, she just wants to eat and do nothing.
Or I curse, which is for food.
Yeah, we'll maybe do another live stream together. Probably after I finish this project. I mean, we've done several in the past, but we have wanted to kind of maybe do one a month. That was the plan. We were going to do it the first Saturday of every month, but that lasted like 0 months. We should do some polymer clay sculpting live stream together. We can sculpt some slugs.
We should. I could only make a snake. Not snake, I found a snake. Just snake, you know? Just roll it. But then,
We should do a live stream sculpting each other. So you should sculpt me and I'll sculpt you.
Sweetie, I can't even make a marble right now. After all this break. Which I said wrong, I think.
I don't know. I'm feeling like the shirt is pretty much done. Feeling like the shirt's done. You guys have to give me your opinion. Give me your opinion on the shirt. Let me know what you think.
Right?
Yeah, we. Oh, by the way, hey there, Njama. Didn't see you come in till I saw your question or your statement. Um, we should try to do one a month at least. I think the problem is just figuring out what we're gonna do. Maybe we should just sit here and talk. Apparently, that's that.
Like age 3 something something age Spider-Man.
I don't.
Whatever.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What are you talking about?
Your
The Spider-Man HHH? What is this?
your channel. A weird guy with his wife.
Oh, H3H3.
Yeah, and I mentioned
What does
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
because
have to do with
he
it?
always says that she will born, she will give a birth to Spider-Man or something.
Oh, yeah.
And she said no.
Start our own podcast.
It's
Yeah.
not gonna whatever. I hate for getting. Antonym's boastful.
Yeah, that makes sense. Boastful.
Conceited.
Conceited. Yeah. Opposite of modesty.
I don't even know this words. I'm looking for antonym.
Conceited is to like just think about yourself.
So there is no dismodest. It was more.
No, it's not dismodest. There's no
But
immodest.
why not?
You always want to
Why
put like
it's
a.
visible and invisible.
I don't know. I didn't make
But
up the
modest
English.
and something else. Right.
Sure.
Impossible, impossible, not impossible.
Okay.
And there is Anne as well.
All right.
Unbelievable.
Come
We should
say hello.
make
I'm gonna
a
sign up.
podcast with antonyms. This is so much fun.
Yeah, we should definitely do that.
We should just
Come
write some antonyms.
pop into the camera and say hello to
Look
everyone.
at me.
I'm gonna sign off. They don't care that you look a hot
Of course
mess.
They care. They have camera and they
No.
see your cute face right there. They
Just come say hello.
I can wave only.
Yeah, come wave. Show them your adorable little chicken finger hands.
I'm trying to listen to my guy. You're disturbing me.
All right, she's coming.
I'm crawling.
She's
in.
coming. It's
Where's the
going
camera?
to it's
Where's
going to
my
be
hand? Where's my
it's
hand?
just a teeny tiny little camera over here.
Should I
just
cover it with my hand?
come
I'm not,
pop
I'm not, no.
Look how small I am.
Yeah,
how small I am.
I saw you there. It's not happening. I will jump in.
I'm going to sign up. Just pop in with your head.
No.
Just come say hello.
No.
All right, maybe next time you guys will get to see her cute little face.
It's not cute.
But
It's a bum face.
all right, I'm signing off.
Okay.
That's
sure.
it. I'm done with my shirt. Okay,
You're perfectly done.
I'm
okay?
perfectly done.
Bye bye, people.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for coming by and hanging out, and hopefully having a laugh. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate it. Remember to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I don't know what you're waiting for if you haven't. If you made it this far in the live stream, then don't forget to subscribe. Give it a thumbs up also for me. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. The live stream will be exactly 6 hours earlier than right now. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, so have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, and I will see you next time. Take care. Peace.